What's up, guys? David Land here, and let me take you back to a simpler time, 1999, where the internet was slower than grandma driving home from bingo night, and Happy Meal toys were awesome. Now, you've got two cars out in front of you, and they're from a very large segment. Remember, I said Happy Meal toys were great in 1999. I know. I was 6, the prime age for Happy Meal toys in 1999. But they did this huge segment, I think it was late 1999, I'm going off the top of my head on that one, but they did a segment where they did all the major racing series in the world in 1999. Formula One, NASCAR, Champ Car, aka IndyCar racing, and I think NHRA as well. And not only did they include a current version of the car, which you can see here, current championship car, but they also included a concept of what they believed the future would hold for that racing championship, aka what the cars would look like in, say, 20 years. Well, we're about 20 years away from when these cars were released. So how close did they get, at least in terms of the IndyCar of the future? Let's find out. So first, let's take a look at the current championship car. And I don't think I mentioned this to begin with, but you may have noticed that these are produced by Hot Wheels. So they already had a Hot Wheels mold for what was then a current championship car. And we'll take a look at that in just a second. Get that car down there. Now, what's interesting about these is they are legit Hot Wheels. Like, they are metal bodied, though they do have the plastic base. But not only are they a legit Hot Wheels, but they come with legitimate stickers. Look at this. These are stickers to make this car into Scott Pruett's 1999 Reynard-Toyota. Now, we will be applying these stickers, but we'll be doing it in just a second to show it off next to what Hot Wheels decided was their future championship car. Now, what's interesting about this car is that it's using an existing mold that Hot Wheels already had at their disposal. It's a Reynard, and it was first used in the 1998 Hot Wheels Pro Racing Preview Edition, and that was the only time it was used. In fact, they actually went and redid their Reynard mold for the Hot Wheels First Edition Pro Racing segment that we will be taking a look at all the cars of at some point. But they actually changed the mold a bit on this car. Let's zoom out just a little bit just to show you. I've got a loose example of a Pro Racing car from the Preview Edition, and it's actually a Reynard as well. It's not in the best condition. I bought it loose at Watkins Glen. But it's virtually identical. However, the front wing on the 99 car is a bit thicker, probably for safety reasons, with a Happy Meal toy. But also on the rear of the car, if you look on the engine cover, and I'll zoom in again, they included, or they removed the dorsal fin. There's a dorsal fin on this 98 or 97, I guess is the paint scheme, on the 97 Walker car for Jill DeFerrin, and for the Scott Pruett car, there is no fin. But aside from that, that's the only difference. Also, no tire branding. I'm not really sure why they did that, but that's what they did. So that is the current championship car. We'll be putting the stickers on that very shortly. And let's take a look at the future championship car. Okay, so the future championship car. A lot of people will be interested to see what this one looks like. But this is Hot Wheels and I guess McDonald's, but much more Hot Wheels concept of what an Indy car would look like in, let's say, 2019. So 20 years removed from 1999. And the reveal, this is what they envisioned as the 2019 Indy car. Now, this also does come with stickers. I should say also, I got these off of eBay. They're relatively cheap and pretty easy to find because they were produced in such massive quantities as they were a McDonald's toy. So clearly, they were they're gonna be pretty easy to find, even in mint condition. So definitely, if you want these, pick them up because they're easy to find. But this is the future championship car, and we'll just take a look at the molding on this car. Obviously, there's a lot to go over with this car, particularly in the cockpit area, because that's where they got a very close approximation of where we may be headed with IndyCar racing in the near future. And I'll touch on that once we've got the stickers on it, but just taking a look at the model itself. And it's amazing that, again, I've said this before in some of my throwback, I guess you could call, diecast reviews. The diecast industry was so different back in these days because this car was only produced for McDonald's, and it was the only, I mean, they've never used it again. So McDonald's commissioned Mattel, and this was not the only exclusive casting, by the way. I actually never had these cars in period. The only car I had from this Happy Meal toy giveaway was actually the future NASCAR concept, and I'll pop that on the screen right now. It was a Bill Elliott car, and it said like McDonald's fly-through or something. Boy, you thought the COT was bad. That one's a little worse. But this is very interesting, again, because it's actually pretty close in a lot of respects to where IndyCar racing may be going. So let's do a little sped-up video of me trying to put stickers on race cars. Let's check it out. Well, after losing about what feels like 10 years off my life putting the stickers on these cars, we finally got them both together and ready to show off. So let's take a closer look at the current champ car first. We'll move the future one out of the way for just now and zoom right in there. So this is, like I've said previously, a version of Scott Pruett's 1999 Reynard-Toyota. Which is interesting about this car is the fact that well, I should say it's interesting about this car because this is the one I actually did end up owning as a kid later on in life. I didn't get it out of a Happy Meal, though. I got it like a thrift shop. It had obviously been played with, and it didn't have the stickers on it, so this is the first time I've seen it with the stickers on it. But it's kind of a car that became a surrogate Alex Zanardi or Tora Takagi car because they both ran those Panasonic schemes. The stickers, for the amount of work I put in, I'm a little not impressed with the stickers. I really feel like a sticker right on the engine cover would have really helped this car out a lot. For whatever reason, they didn't include one. But aside from that, it's nice to have a 1999 Scott Pruett car. It's kind of fun to have that in a die-cast form. I'm pretty sure they didn't do one, so this is the only way you're ever going to get a Scott Pruett from 1999. Of course, 1999 was Scott Pruett's last IndyCar, Champ Car, whatever you want to call it, car season. And this is a close look at the stickers on the car. It's not a perfect job, but whatever. It got it done. I wasn't sure exactly which way the Toyota was supposed to go on this car, so I guessed that it was supposed to go this way since the MCI WorldCom is that way, and I kind of guessed that that was supposed to be like a Hanford device. So maybe I could have cut the sticker in half and put the MCI WorldCom on the back of the wing there. See, the sticker's still kind of coming up a bit. These aren't the most high quality stickers. Remember, it's a McDonald's toy. And then for whatever reason, the printing on this on the nose cone sticker was like off to the side, so I had to put the sticker on wonky. And you NASCAR fans who have watched this far into the video, here's a little Easter egg for you. If it would focus, there you go, Haas CNC. And yes, that is the same Haas from Stewart-Haas Racing. But yeah, a fairly interesting concept. I definitely like the fact that you got a Reynard in a Happy Meal. But this isn't kind of the crux of the review. No, it certainly is not. What we really need to take a look at is the future champ car, or what McDonald's and Hot Wheels envisioned the future of championship racing, aka IndyCar racing, to be. So this is what it looks like with the stickers on it. Obviously a very long sweeping side pod, and that sticker was a pain in the butt to get on, let me tell you, because of its weird shape and the fact that there's actual printing on the car that kind of needs to line up with. But in terms of how this car actually looks with kind of the future in mind, I would definitely say, well, the rear wing is obviously fairly unrealistic. I mean, we won't be seeing jet fighter style stuff like that. But what is interesting is the fact that it's kind of got that dorsal fin kind of thing going on. That Indy cars and pretty much every form of racing outside of, you know, your saloon car, your NASCAR, your stock car is kind of going to, with lots of sweepy, finny things all over the car. But the biggest thing, and you can see it right there, is the fact, and I'm certainly not on the huge bandwagon for this, but it is interesting that in 1999 they included a canopy, or at least a very high windshield. There is an opening on the top of this car, though I'm not sure how a driver would get out of there. But yes, more or less an enclosed canopy, or if you want to call it a very large windscreen. Oh, and here's a really interesting Easter egg, actually. If you look really closely, right there, that helmet design. Wow, okay, so this is just a discovery. That helmet design, because this is a PPI, aka Arciero-Wells car. That helmet design, and that says "Stay Hungry," that's a tribute to Jeff Krosnoff, who was killed in a crash in 1996 driving for this team. That's unbelievable. What a great tribute, actually. I'm really, really genuinely impressed that Jeff Krosnoff got onto McDonald's car. As weird as that sounds, they got him on there. Is he on the Champ car as well? No, he isn't. I don't think so. I didn't see it. I didn't notice it if he was. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Wow, it's the little things that you don't notice, but there you go, a tribute to Jeff Krosnoff. Also, for those of you who are big IndyCar people and have been for a while, this car also has an airbox, even though it has a turbo charger on top of the engine, which that hasn't been around since the kart days. There you go, there's the wing again. I kind of mirrored the design that I had done with the Reynard, where I put the Toyota logo first. And then, yeah, certainly I do appreciate that they had a sticker on the engine cover. Like I said, it would have really helped the Reynard. But this car looks fantastic. This the future Champ car, at least in terms of like a collector's item, something to put in the collection. There's the Haas logo again. It looks really nice. These stickers were a pain. I still didn't get them right here. Still a little bit on the edge there. I might have to try to fix that, but whatever. But aside from that, I would say that this is not a very realistic representation of a future IndyCar or a future Champ car. The pointy nose, that design has kind of gone out of fashion for open wheel cars for whatever reason. It's now more a concept of squaring the nose and raising the nose. So a low nose, a low pointy nose has kind of gone out of fashion. The sweeping side pods, that's something that we could see eventually. Again, it's kind of an idea that's a holdover from the old Indy cars. Again, they were looking at a car at 1999 and thinking, well, what can we see in 2019 or whatever their concept goal was. I'd love to talk to someone at Hot Wheels and see if they actually know anything about this. But obviously no bumpers. We may or may not see those in the next generation of IndyCar chassis or Aero Kit or whatever they're planning on doing next. But aside from that, fairly interesting concept, and if you can get your hands on one, I would say do it. Especially if you can get the set, because the set is very nice. Even though I would say it's weird, because even though it's a fantasy car, I think the future Champ car looks even more interesting. Like, it's a really good design. In fact, it may be a little more realistic to the actual paint scheme than the Reynard was, if you can believe it, because the Reynard's kind of got this glossy finish, and this has got like a metal flake red. I think it looks a little bit better. But I was really happy to do this video. It was kind of something I always wanted from my childhood, these two cars in the set, and I did it. And thank you, YouTube, for the opportunity to show it off to the world. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, you should subscribe because there's all sorts of videos like this one. Maybe I'll do the NASCAR and Formula One 2-pack at some point. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.